This video is part 2 in the series on family roles and dynamics. I'm going to be focusing on the role of the scapegoat and also talking about some of the dynamics between siblings and how it relates to that role of being the scapegoat. As always, my intent in talking about this is to bring some of these patterns to consciousness so that we can shift, so that we can change, so that we can see what we've been engaging in and free ourselves and choose something better, because we can't change what we're not aware of. And a lot of these family roles, they run really deep, and we do them so automatically and so naturally that we don't even know it most of the time. So the role of the scapegoat, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I have talked about that in other videos, but I'll just give a little bit of a recap. The scapegoat was the one in the family who absorbed all of the blame, all of the pain, all of the fault for everyone else's unhappiness. The scapegoat was the dumping ground, the one that the finger was pointed at. It's her fault, it's his fault. He messed it up. The scapegoat was the one who took on all of the feelings, all of the pain, and carried it. And everyone else was absolved of responsibility. They didn't look at themselves, they didn't look at their contribution or what their responsibility was to themselves or in the whole situation. The scapegoat, not having any other perspective or tools to see what was going on, took all of that. They were continually gaslit, invalidated, and then along with that comes a lot of self-doubt, low self-esteem, low confidence. One big thing that the scapegoat also learned among their siblings is because they were the scapegoat, they were the one that they had to be fixed or something wrong with them. The other siblings learned that they were above that person. They were above, they were better than that scapegoat. And the scapegoat conversely learned that they were beneath them. They were expected to fail. They were expected to not succeed. They were expected to underperform or to try really hard and accept the crumbs and accept very little. And that was filling their role. That was fulfilling their job of who they were supposed to be. That they could accept the crumbs, accept menial pay, accept bad relationships, accept mistreatment. Because that's what they were taught and trained to do from the time that they were single digits. As you're going through your healing and as you look at that, and as you realize that your siblings also, they had their own role, and each of their roles had its own benefits and challenges. And you can also realize they learned that they were better than you. And you learned that you were beneath them. And this is not about vilifying or hating anyone or making them at fault. This is about seeing what happened and feeling it and grieving it. You learned you weren't as good as your siblings, and also that you were lagging behind most of your peers. And you may have gone through a lot of your life feeling like you're just really behind in a lot of areas of your life, if not all of them. That you can't get your act together, that you can't seem to get with it, and that you've always been trying to get the approval of everyone else because you're running the race and everyone else is over here and you're just struggling to get there. You're struggling to meet that baseline. See all those negative beliefs that you learned about yourself. Your lack of worth, your lack of capability, your lack of being deserving, and more. See all of that and endeavor to turn all of that around and make it your greatest strengths. If you learned to accept crappy, poor, disrespectful treatment in relationships, learn to see that you deserve the best, that you are deserving of respect. If you learn to work menial, low-paying jobs and be happy with that and just barely scrape by every month because you were taught that that's what you should accept, and almost like this sense of pride. See, I'm doing everything I can. I'm accepting the lowest crappiest jobs that pay the worst, while other people are moving through their careers and climbing up. And you're like, see, I'm doing what I was taught to do. There's a part of you, a small part of you, maybe a big part, but the child in you that's doing what she or he was taught to do. And you know what? Turn that around and say, you know what? I know my value. And I know that I deserve way more than what I'm giving. Way more for what I'm giving. If you learned that you could never be clear on your life purpose and you were always aimless and trying this and trying that, whatever it is, you feel like you can't find what your life purpose is, turn that around and say, I know it. I know it's within me. I know that that clarity is there and I just have to connect with it. Realize that all the lessons you learned were not true. The lessons you learned came from people who were playing their own part in the system. They were playing their own role. And that they had their own wounds that they weren't dealing with. But you don't have to continue to carry it any longer. See it for what it is. See how valuable you are, how capable you are. And it will change when you see that and you stop limiting yourself. Because that's what you learn to do. There's something wrong with me. I have to fix myself. I'm fundamentally flawed. I'm a mess. I'm broken. I'm damaged goods. You're not. That's just a bunch of crap that you learned from other people. Your job is to throw that crap out the window, to stop carrying it, and to stand in your power, to stand in your truth and know that I am not those things that I learned. I am not all those limiting beliefs. Whose beliefs are those? Did they come from outside of you or did they come from you? And you may say, well, yeah, they're coming from me. Who put those there? Who taught you when you were 8 these negative things about you? Don't continue to carry those. You don't have to continue carrying that pain, carrying that limiting belief. You can outgrow it. Outgrow it. Shed that. And move into your strength. And your strength means knowing your value and how much you give. You are not disadvantaged. You're not fundamentally flawed. There is nothing wrong with you. Discard those old beliefs and let the real you come out. That inner child within you is waiting for you to claim that. And the more that you claim that, the more you heal that child that never got that love. The more you step into that strength that is within you, the more that inner child will heal. And the more your love for yourself will grow. And the more your life on the outside will change. Thank you so much for joining me, for coming along on this journey and doing this healing work on yourself. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video.